Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Below the Line, the show about how movies are made in this dark, scary week at Hollywood. Is it dark and scary week because of the news or because they just released a horror movie in Christmas? I don't know, but I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Zach Houston Scott, to find this out. How are you, man?
Not
Woo,
too
just
bad.
on cue with the music.
You sound a little watered at the beginning, man. You might have to splice the first take with the second, not gonna lie.
Maybe it's because, the throat gets dry. I don't know how broadcasters do this for a living. That must be incredibly difficult.
Lots of water and lots of pitch practicing, I think, more than anything.
And
But
Apple use.
yes, depends on
You
the mic.
remember when we did ADR, they gave the talent Apple use at the
Yes.
FS.
I love that was actually one of my favorite classes, seeing how ADR worked and miming and mimicking. I remember the two
Well,
scenes were like two lesbians that we voiced. That
oh
was pretty
yeah,
fun.
where we had to kiss the hand like this.
Yeah. Oh man, that was a fun
Long
class.
time ago.
Yeah, almost a decade if you can believe it. Come next month.
No, next month it'll be a decade when we started it.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It was 10 years ago. So
Graduation would be in a year
December.
from now.
Well, yeah. It was 9 years since we graduated, but
Yeah.
yeah, definitely in that 10 years, a lot has changed, especially for one studio, which we should talk about, all things considered, with recent news that has
Well,
been making.
are we starting that way, or are we starting with the Fnaf movie? Where do
I
you
mean,
want to start?
both are
You
kind
wanna
of
go?
bad news at the end of the day, but let's rip off
Are
the
they?
band that is FNAF, honestly.
Okay, so what are your thoughts? Are you a fan of the franchise?
I have only played the first game. I have seen clips online of the other games, and I do like their marketing, admittedly, but I am not one of those people that dissects the lore. I know that that's how game theorists got really popular, was because of this
Film theory?
franchise. Yep, game theory, MatPat, and everything. And I mean, yes, he does appear in the sequel, rightfully so. I think it would make sense
Is
for
he in
him.
the sequel?
He is in the sequel. Yes, he
Who is
plays
he?
one of the. He plays Toy Chica. I think that's who it is.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because Megan Fox in the Canadian American one is Toy Bonnie. Or I could be wrong, honestly. Like I could totally.
I thought he was in the first one, but I didn't know he was in the sequel.
No, he appears in the first one. He's a cameo. He plays a waiter, but this one he has a bigger role in. Again, let me just double check and see.
Good for him.
Toy Bonnie. Sorry, I got them mixed up. Megan Fox is Toy Chica. MatPat is Toy Bonnie.
Oh, you mean the voices?
Yeah.
Megan Fox is in this movie?
Yep. She's the voice of Toy Chica.
Well, she's the voice of the bad person, right? Like Charlotte or whatever. Is that a spoiler?
It's not real.
I think that's in the games and probably in the trailer.
You have to, yeah. Honestly, this is something that I have no nostalgic value to. It came out a little after my time. Like I was in high school when the first game came out, and I have nothing against it. It was a fine series. Like I like what it did for independent horror, and especially the early days of Steam when it was like, I mean, I love that this franchise has kind of its own, world building
Lore.
and lore and kids. I mean, this is kind of like their first established mythology for horror, if anything. So
It's a gateway drug movie, not for drugs, but like for the horror genre in general.
yeah,
Like if you think about it, it's probably Blumhouse is not notoriously famous for doing R-rated horror, but this is like G-rated in compared to like their R-rated PG-13 stuff, if you know what I mean.
this is for like their younger. Like, this is a great introduction to horror. I don't think
And to Blumhouse as a brand.
Exactly, especially because they haven't been doing so well this year. But with that being said, the first movie I thought did its job fine enough. I won't say it's a great movie. I actually even don't think it's the best of the genre. There were a couple movies released before the first FNAF, Willy's Wonderland and the Banana Splits movie, that I thought did this premise a lot better and funner and just overall had a bit more bite to it. And obviously, both of those movies were rated a little higher. Like, I think they were R rated compared to this one's PG 13 ness.
Barely.
Barely, yeah, if you can
Barely.
call it that. But, I
Why
mean,
is it? Why is it PG-13? Because they say the F word.
yeah, because, I mean, it needed to be PG 13 for its young audience, I believe.
It makes sense. The game is a teen rated, or is it teen like the game? Is that the actual
Yeah,
rating still?
the
So it
games
makes sense.
no, I've always been a true advocate. These do deserve to be PG 13. They're not films that are made to be R because you won't get your target demographic if you get it.
No,
With that being
I mean they edged the R rated.
with that being said too, I do like the first movie was co-written by the original creator. I thought that was a pretty fine, adaptation.
Touch.
This one is by himself. It reunites the same director as well, who came back from the first movie. And yeah, with just that being said, I have not seen this movie yet, the second one, but I'm just judging this based on my opinion on the first movie that, yeah, it's definitely not a great franchise. And from what I've been seeing and reading online, the second one is even worse, if that really disappoints me because you have all
It's
this.
worse as a movie, but as an adaptation, I'm not sure if it's worse. I think people that really love the games will love the film, and that is the issue of the film. You're like, wait, what? And they still have like that weird dream Freddy Krueger scenario from the first one, where he had like visions in his dreams. So they're still playing with that idea, but less. And yeah, overall, the film tries to be bigger, better, but also very lore heavy into the game. Apparently so. I don't know because I have not played the game.
Darn. Okay, that's really sad, honestly. Because again, the first movie, that was my number one problem, is it worked fine as like for fans of the game, but the general public I don't think would enjoy it. And sure enough, it seems to be the same case with that. And again, it's too bad because they're doing the right things. You have the people involved with it, like Jim Henson doing the animatronics, like his company.
The animatronics are great.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Better than the first.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's like the Ninja Turtle guys who did these. You have the potential. It is a creepy idea, but they just keep getting established. Like they're taking, in my opinion, what people are saying on the internet literally, when they're not creators. They're not like people who are writing a story that can appeal to anyone. No, they're just appealing to the lorists. But I mean, it paid off. Like it's heading to number one at the box office this weekend.
How much money has it made?
Already 30 million. It's on track to make 65 million this week. So I mean, I must be missing. Oh, it's already profitable. It was cheap to make.
No, because the budget was 50, right?
No, it was 30 million.
Didn't they double the budget from the first?
Yeah, they kind of. I don't know. It's weird. Wikipedia said 36 to 51 million, but I mean, I'm just
the 50. It looks more expensive, and I think they're trying to set up a Scream reunion for the third part, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the film is fine for what it is, but it's not. It's also very poorly released, but I guess they're making money, so what do I know? In the sense that I think this should have been released in October and it would have made more money, but they're also making a lot of money and people love this IP.
Yeah.
And with the lore stuff, I don't know if you should target other demographic, because in many ways the lore stuff is what made the freaking franchise successful.
Yeah.
And boy, if Hollywood needs franchises now, so I'm sure Universal is going to take that win regardless whether critics don't like the film. As long as those fans keep showing up and cashing in, they'll be happy. So I don't think it's a big deal that it was not made for us necessarily. I think it's the same case of the Minecraft movie. Like, we were not Minecraft players, but people that played Minecraft loved that movie.
True. No, you're
And
right about that.
to a certain point, Mario as well. I just think Mario is like Mickey Mouse. It's such a established character, but I mean, some critics on YouTube did not like it because they have not played the games, and they got flagged for that. So I don't know. I think it's an interesting thing when you take an adaptation from something that probably has no story, because then there's the case of The Last of Us, but I mean, that was a movie. How do you transfer the gameplay lore to the screen? I think that's where, are you trying to attract new fans or the fans of the franchise?
I mean, in the defense of the Mario movie, that was a general crowd pleaser. Like, I think, yeah, it did have Easter eggs to the original, but you didn't have to play the games
But it
to
helped.
understand it. It did help, and I think that's what made it better, and that's why people, flocked to it, because it made so much money. Whereas this one and
Billion.
Minecraft, but in Minecraft's case, that was a long time coming because people really like that game.
Yeah.
Is like one of the top sellers of all time, and Fnaf is also in a different genre as well too. So horror typically sells well, but
Yeah.
it will have a steep drop. I guarantee you the next couple weeks, especially
Of
with
course.
Avatar and SpongeBob and
Marty
these other
Supreme.
Marty Supreme, exactly.
Well,
So,
and everything that Netflix is releasing. Wink, wink.
speaking of that, I mean, for Netflix's credit, I also do recommend checking out Jay Kelly, the new George Clooney and Adam Sandler
Noah
film.
Baumbach.
Yeah, the new Noah Baumbach film. That's a very great character study.
Where it should be called George Clooney, the movie.
No, honestly, if I did have one problem with that movie, it really should have not been focused on him. The manager, Ron, played by Adam Sandler.
Oh, Adam Sandler, yeah.
That was the key to making that film work. Jay Kelly is fine as a character, but like you said, it is just George Clooney.
It's George Clooney playing himself.
Yeah, there's like no other role I can't see him as anything other than George Clooney.
Well, the thing is, they kind of break the fact that it's George Clooney in the end. Like when he's in the film festival and they play that montage, it's not about Jay Kelly, it's about George Clooney.
True.
So they kind of merge their identity to one thing. Again, I don't know if George Clooney has been divorced and he has had issues with his
Kids.
sons or daughters. I think that's fiction. But the idea of an actor trying to say, what is my life being like? I think that's probably something that George Clooney is thinking now at the later stage of his career, for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
But I mean, I think, are you thinking about seeing Fnaf too?
Maybe. It depends. The reviews kind of turned me off a little bit. Like, I was hoping it would be better than the first one, but it does make me sad. They really just sound like they doubled down on what
They did.
really... Yeah, that's really all they did. They doubled down on what
They did.
Boris like, but they never really considered like making a good movie.
And some of the castmates are wasted. Like McKenna Gray, she's barely in the film. And I think she's wasted. Josh Hutcherson, I mean, he's there. And to a certain degree, he carries the film, but they're setting up a third film. I think, oh man, this is going to sound controversial with the recent news. But I'll say that you can probably stream it. I don't know if
the first movie, yeah.
if this is a theatrical movie experience, because I don't think there is no one good jump scare. So even with the jump scares, they're very poorly executed. So I would say it is a streamable movie.
For free.
I mean, I don't know where it'll end up. Well, this is Peacock, so it stays with Peacock for now. Well, I mean, I'm laughing a little bit because I think now saying it's a streaming movie could be potentially offensive or very controversial, but I don't know. It'd be that in a week it'll be out of the theater system. That's also a fact. Like if you don't see it this weekend or this before Wednesday, I don't think people will see it in the theaters, just because of all the load that is coming to the theaters.
Yeah. But now we turn into the biggest news dump of the week. That does involve streaming. The loss of yet another legacy studio in Hollywood. This was coming, but probably not the results that we thought because one of the buyers was so aggressive with it. And who's
With
to say what's
Paramount.
going to happen? Yeah, with Paramount, but the Netflix buyout of Warner Brothers. Hard to believe
To be
that.
pending.
Yeah, to be pending, but more or less, if anything goes by, the buyouts of Skydance to Paramount and Disney to Fox, yeah, it's literally kind of going to go through in the
Well,
next year.
and going off because I read a lot of interviews, articles saying the antitrust issue, right? And I don't know if that's going to really make the deal not go through. Because I was thinking of other businesses like Microsoft. How many studios do they own?
Too
They own
many.
Activision, Blizzard, Bethesda. They own like half of the developers that are releasing AAA games. And they even lied because they mentioned they were not going to raise the prices of Game Pass because of Call of Duty. And what just happened a couple of weeks ago? They raised those prices.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Netflix owning Warner Brothers is a monopoly. Because, you could say the same thing about Disney. When they acquired Fox, Hulu was its own independent streaming service. And now they're part of Disney Plus.
Yeah, it was weird seeing Shrek on Disney Plus the other day, but again, it's because of that Hulu deal that it's on
For
there.
now.
For now, yeah. Actually, for what it's worth, Disney Plus here in Canada typically doesn't lose its content or films much. It's really just, stays on for a longer period. Or if it is gone, then I don't notice it. But we shall see.
So, with all that said in mind, with the antitrust issue, whether some companies have gone away with it, what are your thoughts on this news, not just as a film lover, but as a working professional in the industry?
Well, I'm not working currently on a Warner or Netflix project.
Not yet.
Yeah, that's true. But to me, this is a company that, I kind of alluded to it earlier in the podcast that in the last 10 years, Warner has had 3 changing of the guards. They were bought by AT&T, they were bought by Discovery, and now they're bought by Warner Brothers, Warner Brothers, Netflix,
By
all in the span of
Netflix.
10 years. Yeah, or Netflix, sorry.
Yeah.
Let me restart that. They were bought by AT&T,
AT&T.
who then sold it to Discovery, and now
With a
they
massive
are
debt.
with a massive debt, and Discovery had to pick up the pieces, and they cut a lot of content and works of art for the last 10 years, especially gutting HBO Max, renaming it to Max, renaming it back to HBO Max, which, to be fair, isn't going to last much longer with this Netflix buyout.
Well,
And
it's going to be Netflix Max.
yeah,
Netmax.
Netflix to the max.
HBO Flix, or something like that.
And it's clear that Netflix just wanted it for its catalog because really, Stranger Things is
Well,
ending this year. They don't
I
have a
don't
whole
know
lot of
if
episode. Oh, go ahead.
I don't know if it's just the catalog. I think the catalog is there. Yeah, of course, they're going to have Harry Potter, and it's going to be the most successful show by the time this premieres. It'll probably be a Netflix show. I think to me, it's also the ability to make more content. Because as part of what they'll be owning the legendary studios in LA and in
Yeah,
London probably too. And that gives
that,
you access to make whatever you want.
I hope so. I really do because I've been to that studio. It's beautiful. It's such a cool tour, and they really do have a
They
lasting
might take that
legacy.
out.
That oh yeah, check it out if you can. Like to me, Warner was kind of my personal favorite because they were the first studio to implement sound into one of their films. You could argue they
Uh-huh.
were the first to really make a dent with their color. They were the first, and even just looking online and seeing just how many of their films were brought to physical media, they were the first ones to bring them to DVD, and they're still doing it. And they do it like
Better
preservation
buy them
wise.
now.
Oh yeah, they're fantastic for that. And it just
No, I
Turner
mean,
Classic Movies is technically owned by them. That's where they come from. And to see that kind of get lost by this buyout worries and makes me sad because they just see it as like older,
content.
yeah, content. That's what
Well,
Netflix pushes out.
see, here's the thing. I was going to ask a very difficult question because I
Mhm.
think, I think there's a element that film people love film. They love going to the theater. And I do love that. But do you I felt for a very, very long time that the studios have stopped making films and they've been creating content. So was Warner Brothers a studio outside of their Oscar films that was creating films or content? Like if you think about the films they released this year, the most film they released is One Battle After Another. You could
But
argue the rest of the slate is content.
well, I disagree with that to an extent because you look at movies like Sinners, like Weapons,
Oh
even
yeah,
like
Sinners and Weapons. I forgot
legacy
about those two.
sequel like The Matrix Resurrection a couple years ago. That was basically making fun of them to make another Matrix, and Lana Wachowski turned it on their head and basically made a movie that it's not perfect, but you could definitely say was not lazy or sellout. And
Yeah,
they were the studio that I did give credit always took those big chances, like Nolan, when basically it screwed them over in the end with Tenet releasing in theaters in the midst of a pandemic. But that's just the power that he has. And I mean, he's also going to be one of the people to talk to Warner Brothers and Netflix about this deal with the. Yeah.
yeah.
But to me, I think Warner was trying to make movies. I think they were trying harder than the likes of Disney for
Of
sure.
course,
Um,
of course.
I don't like to me there was an effort by them to make the original stuff like One Battle After Another, like Sinners, and even like Next Year. And their DC slate was like doing fantastic. And
James
yeah,
Gunn is in trouble.
oh yeah, we'll see about that. I mean, sorry, Snyder guys, there's no way that franchise is coming back.
Well, you know why it could not come back, even if it went back to Netflix?
The cast.
I don't think Zack Snyder and Henry Cavill have the best working relationship with Netflix.
No, they don't. They
Like
got
so,
Rebel Moon and The Witcher are gone basically. Like they
and Henry Cavill kind of bailed on The Witcher. Well,
Yeah.
because that thing is still going. Like Chris Hemsworth, or is it Chris or
Liam Hemsworth, his brother.
well, Hunger Games Hemsworth. But that thing's still going, and Rebel Moon was a massive disappointment for the studio. So even if the algorithm was like, give this to the fans, I don't think they would, because they don't have a good working relationship with them.
No, definitely not. No. And even still, with the controversy with Ezra Miller and why would people want to work with Ray Fisher again? Jason Momoa has moved on and he can't get that Aquaman bot again. Like, there's just a lot of factors. But again, that's one piece of the puzzle. They also wanted it for Game of Thrones. They also wanted it, whether or not the Looney Tunes or for Harry Potter. Yes, they wanted it for all the franchises Warner owns. And for what it's worth, I mean, we need to wait and see. Maybe this will end up being like how Disney views Fox, with being more their adult label. Like now Fox has kind of become the adult touchstone that Disney used to distribute before they bought Fox. Maybe this will be like with Amazon when they bought MGM. That's now become their de facto streaming. Yeah, studio. I mean, it put MGM back on the map. I never thought that studio would ever get like releases on the big screen again. Now, Amazon's a pretty big player. They're releasing a He-Man movie next year that's going into theaters. And heck, even Apple is throwing their hat in the ring. Maybe they're going to buy one of these legacy studios. We're down to 4 now.
I mean, they can. They can.
Yeah. Maybe they'll buy Disney.
Them.
Maybe they'll buy Paramount after Skydance, because I mean, Paramount's kind of screwed in general. Like, they were the most hostile to purchase.
Well,
this.
I also think Zaslav got a lot of money because he went with Netflix.
Oh, clearly he wanted money. That's all this was. It was just
I
him
mean,
to his pockets.
regardless of who wins or loses, I think he already won. Because even if the deal doesn't go through, it's $5 billion that they're going to give to Netflix.
Yeah.
So, like, Warner already won. So, I think that's a good thing for them.
Definitely. But, I mean, it's a wait and see. I'm cautious about it because, I mean, what it means for their reservation and Netflix is dealing. Netflix is also the streaming service I use the least and I get annoyed by the most just because they literally call it content and Ted Sarandos does not like the theatrical. I mean, he is warming up a little bit to it, but the fact that he said it's going to be limited more in theaters is very concerning.
I think that's a concern to people, but places still exist, so I don't think the theatrical experience will disappear. I just think it has to be better. Like, for example, what if all theaters were reclinable seats, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's an effort from the theater's part. Or like if every screen was an IMAX. So I think that's something that we should aspire to.
Yeah.
I mean, we had these discussions, and we'll see how the deals evolves. But I think this also happened to the music industry, and the music industry seemingly is fine. I mean, I'm not an expert, but bands still release vinyls, and people still buy physical stuff. I just think maybe Netflix has to wonder. But at the same time, I would also say Netflix has been one of the most supportive studios for our tours. I mean, they support filmmakers like Noah Baumbach, like Del Toro, Greta Gerwig. When no traditional studio wanted to finance The Irishman, they did it. When nobody wanted to finance Roma for Alfonso Cuarón, who had just won an Oscar a few years before for Gravity, they did it. So I think they're a studio that does believe in high quality films. It just, once they are released in their platform, they get swallowed into that beast. But they want you to stay subscribed, so I don't know. It's a complicated thing because they also gave Greta their word that they're releasing Narnia in the big screen. So
yeah,
I think
I'm not
it's
excited
possible.
for that Narnia film, but we'll see.
Well, I'm not excited either. I'm saying I think it is possible that as Netflix gets more power, they get to learn to work with the particular filmmakers. If they were able to convince Greta Gerwig,
yeah,
why not convince Nolan?
Yeah.
And you know what's ironic? On my Netflix, I logged in yesterday. The thing that was on the top thing was It Chapter 1.
It's already
So
begun.
It's already happening here.
That's funny.
It's funny.
But what are your
You want to
thoughts,
sign us
folks?
off?
Absolutely. What are your thoughts, folks, on this merger? Yeah, he's Andres Ramirez. You can follow him at Jaro2096. I'm the Zach Houston on Instagram. You can follow us at our new Instagram logo, below the line _podcast. And yeah, give us a watch on Spotify and YouTube, and you have yourself a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.